Most interesting I've heard all afternoon, you may not believe what it is. It was the presentation of Michael Anisette, who spoke about the e-identity and the call for the use of technology being online.
I was in Estonia, and I was amazed by the ability of a small European country and the ability of using the technology to really make life easy for everybody. And therefore, the issue of creating an e-identity for each citizen and permanent resident, that is mandatory to access government services and control by the government. How do we have a single unique identity for each citizen and permanent resident? We need to work towards that immediately, and that can be done immediately.
It is interesting that this has come from Labour. I was very intrigued that this has come from Labour. And he also mentioned Estonia, which tells me that we are all on the same wavelength. Estonia is a country about the same size as Trinidad and Tobago in terms of its population. It has a slightly bigger economy, it's a little bbigger economy, and it's one of the small European countries on the Baltic. I've met with the president of Estonia twice, first at CARICOM, and then another time on a bilateral at the UN. Mr. Anisette is quite right when he says that he's discovered that at Estonia is such a well-run country on the basis of that e-identity, and it provides such, I won't use the word easy, but I say effective management of the issues that population experience. And nothing will make us perform better than a transformation where public governance and administration is based on e-identity. An e-identity system. Once you had tapped anywhere in the system acknowledges you, and anywhere else you go, you're identified in everything that you do. The president of Estonia told me the way the system works in Estonia is if a person collapses on the pavement, anybody pick up that person, and the authorities, like a paramedic or somebody, that person is carrying the equivalent of an ID card, and they would know everything they need to know about you right then and there, from your blood group, your address, your where you, all the data about you is there. So immediately you are allowing certain things to happen with you if you have that e-identity. The government of Estonia has offered Trinidad and Tobago, at our request, that we want to pattern our system, that transformation that Winston spoke about. We said to Estonia, this is what we want to do in Trinidad and Tobago. This is what will change Trinidad. And the government of Estonia said, we will try to help you. And if there is one thing, one transformational thing that I hope would be endorsed by this committee's work, is that we move the mountain of paper pushing that takes place in this country in the pretense of monitoring and accountability, and replace it by a system of e-identity, where all 1.4 million of us would have our unique identifier and start from there. All kinds of possibilities would happen. It would have been so easy for the government to put the money in the bank accounts of all the people who were entitled to have it if we had that system. Because that system would have identified you at the employer. It would have identified you at NIS. It would identify you as a person saying, I'm not employed and therefore I qualify for this award, for this relief that is being available. The current system of pushing paper without the e-identity and the use of technology facilitates corruption and waste. And therefore, if we go to what the modern technology allows us to do, we could save significant amounts of resources simply by doing it. But it's like in the medical arena, where if you have a drug that is targeting certain cells in your body, you want to know that when the drug is administered, it is getting to those cells, otherwise you're wasting your attempt at administering medication. we have great possibilities here, and I'm so excited of hearing what I've heard this evening. One, of the depth of the consultation. Two, the breadth of how far we want to go. I'm looking forward to the draft that is going to come from all this work, because we are really, notwithstanding what the virus is doing to us in terms of our fear and trepidation in dealing with it, but the other side of that coin, which is, it has forced us to examine ourselves, and it may be forcing us to transform to that place where we always wanted to be.